Hello, BizFair attendees. Welcome to Laying the Groundwork, an introduction to government contracting. I'm Kate Hoy, a PTAC advisor for the state of Washington State PTAC. I will be your guide today. So let's get started. Today, we're going to cover the basics of government contracting. We'll give you insight onto how to check if government contracting is for you, then offer some simple next steps and available resources. Please feel free to post questions in the chat as we go along. But first, what is a PTAC? PTACs are Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, and they're located all over the United States. Funded in part by the Defense Logistics Agency, the main mission of PTACs is to connect small businesses with government contracting opportunities. The Washington State PTAC has 8 centers around the state. Each center offers workshops, personal one-on-one advising, matchmaking events, and much more. No matter where you are in government contracting, your local PTAC advisor can help you navigate the process. Now, before I go too far, please know this presentation moves along pretty quickly. We've made a companion handout for this presentation that includes the important links and tips we mention here. I will upload that document into the chat. We do encourage you to ask questions or meet with an advisor after this presentation for more detailed information. So, what are contracting basics? There are 4 key steps to government contracting. You've already started on step 1, researching the possibilities and creating a basic game plan. You will be registering on multiple sites, so it's best to prepare yourself, as this can get confusing and frustrating. But there is no one button to government contracting, and there are many government agencies who require different types of registrations. Government contracts are always in writing. Many times, you will be responding to a formal or informal solicitation, which will require a written proposal. Eventually, you will receive a contract. It is at this point that you are considered a vendor. This process from beginning to end may take about 3 or 4 months, so it's best to approach government contracting as a long-term strategy to help alleviate frustrations. So, how do you get started? You've actually started already. You're doing basic marketing research to see where you fit in. The key elements to this research is to figure out who it is you're selling to, what are they buying, and how do they buy it? So let's review each question separately. Who can you sell to? You are well aware, I'm sure, that there are many federal agencies around. Matter of fact, if you go to Wikipedia and ask about the number of federal agencies, there will be a disclaimer saying there is no way to know for sure. Our presentation, however, will assume there are over 2,000 federal agencies in general. On this slide, you can see some examples of a few federal agencies located in the state of Washington. But there's more than just federal agencies. In the state of Washington, there are 190 different agencies, departments, and commissions. We have listed a few examples here. The important thing to note is the state agencies operate differently than the federal agencies. They require different registrations and have different procurement guidelines. And there's more than just state and federal. The state of Washington has 39 different counties. Each county has its own procurement department and therefore its own registrations and procurement policies. You can see here some examples of what you might find on a county level. If you're into law enforcement, construction, rural health, or parks and rec, then looking at opportunities on a county level might be of use to you. And there's more. Washington has 281 separate cities and towns. What types of government agencies might you find in your city? For example, law enforcement is at the city level, fire services, libraries, and again, parks and rec. And you guessed it, cities have different processes and policies than the counties, the state, or the feds. And there's more. In addition to the government level agencies, there are also quasi-government agencies or other government entities. They may include tribal entities, schools K through 12, state colleges and other higher education, utilities, transit authorities, the ports, and the 49 other states. So perhaps you can now understand why deciding who you're going to sell to is the very first thing you will want to explore. So what do government entities buy? It might take you up to 2 years or so before you really start making money with government contracting. There are a few reasons for this, which we will explore now. Let's start with the day-to-day services any government agency will need to purchase. There are many opportunities to bid on day-to-day services, but there are also many competitors. You will be bidding against an incumbent supplier. Someone is already providing these services. It may take you a bid or two before you understand the process of bidding as well as understand your competition. If you provide services that are specially funded, the bidding playing field might be more even, but there are fewer opportunities to practice bidding. These type of purchases may depend on federal money being given to the state or special state funding for particular projects. Locating these opportunities might be more complicated than locating the day-to-day services opportunities. If you're in construction, you will probably subcontract to a large prime for a year or two as you gain experience. Doing construction work for government entities is quite different than for a private company. It's wise to provide contracting services to a current contractor so you can learn about the many regulations and contracting procedures that go along with construction. One note here. There are similar construction jobs in the public works departments of cities and state agencies. This avenue may be available much quicker for direct work. And finally, if you offer products and no services, you will want to understand how the agency purchases products. Although selling products can move faster than selling services, typically because only the cost is a factor, there will be a lot of competition on this level, especially on the federal level. And you may end up selling items at a lower markup than you would in the commercial market. Some notes on products. You will only bid on products that are currently commercially available. If you're interested in bringing a new, undeveloped product to a government agency, that is through another avenue, not contracting. You will want to discuss this with your PTAC advisor. The government buys services and products in many different ways. Understanding how they buy will inform how you market to them. Today, we're going to talk about just 3 of the ways that governments purchase goods and services, but talk to your PTAC advisor about other methods. The most recognizable method is to post solicitations to the public where anyone can bid on them. On a federal level, $25,000 solicitations or greater are to be publicly posted. This is a competitive process, so at least 2 qualified bids must be received in order for there to be an award. The process to register and bid on government contracting is free from beginning to end. And you do not have to be certified to bid on federal contracts that are set aside for total small business. Another common method government agencies use to purchase goods and services is via a large prime contractor. Large prime contractors are private companies, and they have their own onboarding and bidding processes. They may have subcontracting goals when holding a federal or state contract, which will be important for you to know about. And a third very common method of purchasing is via multiple vendor award contracts. These are contracts that are two-tier. You bid on a master list of some sort, and then you're able to bid on projects as they come up over a certain time period. Examples include GSA schedules on a federal level, or in federal construction, you might see the term MATOC. Schools often use cooperative purchasing agreements. There are statewide contracts. The state of Washington has about 300 of them. And on a city level, you might hear the terms rosters, on-call lists, or QVL lists. They all refer to the same thing. These are multiple vendor contracts. So you're a small business, right? What advantages does that give you? The federal government and most state governments have formal ways that they support small businesses. In Washington state, $40,000 contracts or smaller can be directly purchased from a qualified small business. If you're vet-owned or small business, in general, you may get additional evaluation points on certain solicitations. On the federal level, $250,000 or smaller contracts are to be set aside for qualified small businesses. And further, 23% of all federal purchases are to be set aside for qualified small businesses. This includes women-owned businesses, vet-owned businesses, businesses participating in the 8A program, or businesses that are HubZone certified. Speaking of certifications, there are many available depending on who you want to sell to. Keep in mind, certifications are not mandatory. They're always optional and may or may not help your situation. We encourage you to learn the basics of government contracting, how to bid, how to find opportunities before getting certified. This method will make your journey easier to navigate and less frustrating. Remember that handout I mentioned earlier? On it, you will find some interesting links. If you'd like to check out solicitations, you can go to sam.gov to locate federal solicitations. You do not have to be registered. The state portal, WEBS, is where you will find state solicitations. And you can also visit any city and look up where they post their solicitations. The bottom line is you can download solicitations at any time. You are not obligated to respond. This is a great way to find out if you're ready for government contracting. I will post the handout in the chat. Now what? How do you decide if government contracting is in fact for you? Let's look at some things for you to consider. Bidding on solicitations is a competitive process. How are you best prepared to win a bid? Well, you will need to have past experience in the business you're in. We recommend 2 years or so in business in the private sector, so you can learn the core basics of how to run a business and how to price your product or services. You do not want to learn these things on a government contract. You may have already discovered that this process can be very frustrating and a complicated one. Knowing this going in will allow you to be better prepared. Create a game plan as we're discussing, and you will have more success. Finally, a government contract can be expensive. Like private work, you will have to discover your market, seek opportunities, and make an offer. Unlike private or commercial work, however, you will not get money up front, you will not have the room to renegotiate, and there may be additional insurances or reporting requirements. Additionally, on a federal level, it could take 2 or 3 months before your invoices are being paid smoothly due to the nature of the invoicing process. The good news is government agencies aren't going anywhere, so you will get paid. In general, it's good to know that a government entity is most likely not going to give you your first job. All government entities are risk averse. It is, after all, your taxpayer money they're spending. So we encourage you to make sure you have a solid foundation beneath you before exploring government contracting. Our suggestions include creating a solid business plan, having at least 2 years experience in the commercial market, create a government target market plan by answering who is it that you want to sell to, what do they buy, and how do they buy it. We also suggest that you have a strong cash flow, a line of credit, and or a loan in place, just to be able to cover expenses for the first 3 to 6 months. So what's next? If you are in the conceptual stages of business, you have less than 1 year in business, or you're not financially secure, you may want to meet with a resource partner, such as SCORE, SBDC, or one of the women's business centers, in order to secure more commercial work before going into government contracting. Please know that PTACs work closely with the SBA in providing support services to small businesses. You can find representatives of any of these resources I've listed here live at the BizFair or online. I encourage you to reach out to them. If you are a legally established business, experienced in your current business, and you're ready to explore government contracting further, you may want to meet with a PTAC counselor in your area to learn more about the opportunities in government contracting. Everyone is in a different place, so PTAC provides one-on-one advising so you can craft a personal plan on how best to move forward. And how to find us. You can learn more about us as well as sign up for services at washingtonptac.org. I will place this link in the chat. If you're at the fair in person, please visit us at the Washington PTAC booth. I hope this short presentation was helpful. I will stay online now for the next 10 minutes or so to answer questions. You may either ask in person or enter a question in chat. See you shortly.